Hi guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist, The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're looking at 100 Bullets number 6, but first we've got the Nine of Swords from World Fantasy Tarot, the Basilisk. It's weird. I don't know what a basilisk is. It's a dragon with arms but without legs that has a tail. So it's a four-limbed creature, but yeah. I was going to put him in a video game, one of the first ones I started, where they're in these glowing jars that go off like landmines if you don't catch them before they explode. Anyhow, Basilisk is a cool monster. Here we go, 100 Bullets number 6. Short con, long odds. Not the best comic I've ever read, but it's not the worst either. I think that designation still goes to that Conan where everyone failed. I think it was 151. So these two kids, out being kids, playing craps. There's two of them. Chucky? Yeah, Chucky and Pony. I think his name is Chucky or Corky or something stupid like that. He wants to be a great gambler and always win. And that's just not how gambling works. World is not enough. This is January of, this came out January of 2000. So this is a Christmas movie. Now they're all grown up. Chucky is out pretending to be a redneck, playing with some hood rats, taking them for lots of money, talking lots of smack back and forth. And he keeps winning. And of course this upsets them, because when you get someone who runs their mouth and brags, it's easy to talk them into bigger and bigger bets. That's exactly what he's doing. They make some funny comments though about like, what are you doing out here? Is your cousin on the rag? So that sort of thing. About being an inbred redneck. And just as they're about to, just as they've about had enough with him, his girlfriend, Shantae, pulls up and talks him out of all this trouble, slaps him across the face. And if she hadn't been a black girl in a hair hat, he probably wouldn't have gotten out of this with the money. But she is, and he did get out of it. They have enough money to pay off his marker. He's in debt to a gambling house or a loan shark, however you want to phrase that. This comic, this individual issue, I don't want to say it's... I use the word indulgent about this stuff too much, but it's not as compressed as it needed to be. It's not as compressed as it would be today. 100 Bullets gives itself the room to tell the stories it wants to tell. This is like the comic book for all the Tom Waits songs. If Tom Waits made comics, they would be 100 Bullets. I've been listening to him lately because I've been reading so much of this. Blue Valentines, Kentucky Avenue, Jockey Full of Bourbon. My personal favorite is Romeo is Bleeding. I think that would make an excellent comic book or a 12-page sequential art story. Kentucky Avenue, too, is about little kids growing up together. And so this is the person he owes all the money to. I don't remember her name. She's a big, fat black woman. And he comes in to try and pay off a good chunk of it. He's got like $1,000 or $1,500. And she doesn't want his money because she has sold his marker. That means she sold his debt to someone else. And so he thinks he's going to owe more. She explains, no, I sold it for 80 cents on the dollar to Pony. Pony is the kid he grew up with. He's about to go see him and pay off the debt. And there's a really cool bit right here where he explains to Shantae that it's one thing to owe a loan shark. It's another thing to owe a friend, because you will be diminished. He literally says you'll be diminished in your friend's eyes and they'll think less of you. So he goes to the restaurant Pony owns. They haven't seen him in a while. He did 7 years in prison for vehicular manslaughter and has only been out a year. In the past year, he's racked up all his debt, and now he's going to see Pony, his old friend who owns his marker. He goes through the restaurant. Everyone there knows him. He trades jokes with Fat Sal about, doesn't it suck you having to watch all this food leave your kitchen when you know you want to put it in your mouth? Fat Sal makes some jokes to him. I don't remember what they were. In the back room of the restaurant is where he finds his old friend Pony, who tells him that Chucky doesn't owe him anything, that he's erased the debt, that he's his friend. Chucky's not having it. He really is not interested. All the big he has to play street corner games because all the big gambling houses won't let him in, because someone has been spreading the word that he's a cheat and that he's crooked, that he uses loaded dice. You can't use loaded dice in a big casino. He's just got like a magic touch that isn't explained right away. And so he wants to put all the money down on a sports bet that's guaranteed to lose. The Rangers are up against someone like the Yankees or whatever, and the spread is way against them. He insists on putting put all that money on that bet so that this guy will still get paid. Sort of paying him in a roundabout way. Pony's not taking it. He's refusing him. And they go back and forth, and it doesn't get settled. It's not like he has a job for him or something that he wants him to do. Shantae, his girlfriend, doesn't understand, and they end up leaving not on good terms. This has been his lifelong friend. So that is not working out, right? Now the story starts. He's out playing another street corner porch step game, shooting craps with these guys. He just met him, just walked up. She's in the diner right around the corner. These guys take offense to losing. Shantae does not return soon enough. He gets a knife pulled on him. And I know I'm going through this really fast. I really should leave the art up. The dialogue's not so much subtext. It's just threats and jokes back and forth. The art is amazing. And I love the way Eduardo Risso uses shadow to separate the characters from each other. Like, this guy's not in shadow, but that separates him from the background. He doesn't hesitate to he'll put entire faces in dark, just the eyes and teeth. A lot of jokes there. But again, the shadow on Shantae's face is really good. He'll do shadows across people's eyes very often. Let's see if we can find one of those. I'm sure there's one coming up if we have an art. There we go. He'll do that. He does that all the time. Pony doesn't want the money. Again, this guy's face is in complete darkness. Face in complete darkness. He's not afraid of blacks. And I don't mean the people, I mean the ink. He's not afraid to spill some ink. This is a dynamic comic. It does feel like everything's always moving. It doesn't feel like it's really static. Not a lot of portfolio shots. Here we get to they pull a knife on him. They've had it. They cut his wrist. They put the knife to his throat, start to kick on him. And here we go. Agent Graves arrives. They beat it. So he pulls sort of a Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. What are you spooks doing out here? He doesn't call them spooks. But they do leave. They decide not to make an example of the old man and let Chucky go. Graves sits down with him and explains why he's there. And it's not a good story. It's not good for Chucky. He tells a story about how two guys got drunk a while back, about 8 years ago. Really drunk. Got in a car accident and killed a family. One guy was so drunk that his friend told him he was driving and switched spots with him, put him in the driver's seat, let him take the rap and do 7 years in prison. And now he's spreading the word around town that this guy, Chucky, is a cheat and can't be trusted, so he can't play in any of the gambling houses. His best friend Pony did this to him. If you guys have ever seen Neon Demon, you guys should watch Nicholas Winding Refn's film, Neon Demon. He did Drive with Ryan Gosling and Only God Forgives with Ryan Gosling. Neon Demon is intense. That will make a lot more sense to you after you see that movie. It's got some of the most beautiful women in the world in it. Abby Lee, who's a supermodel. Incredible supermodel. And the other girl who's also a supermodel, whose name I'm spacing on, and she was in the Man in the High Castle. She played one of the Lebensraum girls who was in love with Joe. All right, let's do the next bit. Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. In this first one, the way it happens that the government comes after Dr. Fox, they try to confiscate his micronics first. But not everyone can use this. You have to be especially intelligent, and it has to bond with your mind. And if you're not up to the task, it will just burn your brains out. So this is a pretty, I'm really proud of this story. One of the things that goes wrong is that this can write itself onto other metal in the area. So it could, at one point it ate Dr. Fox's gun. It can consume metal, and then it learns how to project itself into metal. And so it infects some of the neighborhood kids. They get exposed to it, and one of them goes kind of nuts. And yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. It's a good story. I suppose I do really need to redo the audiobooks, but if audiobooks aren't your thing, it's not really going to matter. And it's too big for a comic by itself. I'm going to have to do excerpts, like just this little part as one issue. I'm really impressed with the way they are fearlessly starting new characters and new stories all the time in 100 Bullets. There is a big through line, kind of like one of those TV shows like Blacklist, or there were some other ones I don't remember, where they would have the main investigation for that episode, but they'd also have a bigger investigation that everything ties into. And I suppose that's one way to do it. I do have to get back to drawing some more. I've got surgery in this eye a week from today, so I'm not looking forward to it. I have no idea what they're going to do. It's a little scary, but it's got to be better than what's going on right now. Today's conflicted card is the Seven of Clubs, and in this one, Morgan has the opportunity to enter a shelter and have food and a safe place to sleep for a night, but he has to give up his weapons. Okay, there were a lot of towns like this in the Old West. You have to deposit your guns with the sheriff when you enter the town. But if you guys remember Mad Max, Beyond Thunderdome, when Mel Gibson gives up all his weapons and he's holding the fly swatter in his teeth, and that fly swatter is a knife. Even a pair of glasses, you break the arms off a pair of glasses, and this becomes a very dangerous weapon. You could put someone's eye out, hook this under someone's nose or in their cheek, and they'll do whatever you want. Stab this into someone's ear. So there's always a weapon. You can never be disarmed unless they take your arms. So yeah, today's card is the Basilisk. What else do I have to talk about? The world sort of feels like it's waiting for the other shoe to drop right now, doesn't it? Israel's trying to start more wars. I guess there's ships, giant bombers flying off to bomb Yemen from somewhere. I saw them, big stealth bombers. I don't remember where they were located. Not that it matters. We shouldn't be fighting Israel's wars. That's a whole can of worms, though. That would make this a really long episode. And I'm afraid I don't have so much to talk about. This issue, the identification with this character, he's not a particularly endearing character. I don't really care for Chucky the Cowboy. I can't say why. You know, here's why. Because he has the same ambitions everyone does, just to get money to get money. And he wants to get his money gambling, but we don't really know anything about him other than the fact that he got into trouble. This comic has so much in it. The one thing they didn't take the time to do was make us like this guy. And that's important. That's important in a book or a novel. And I'm not sure that I always executed as best or as well as I could have. I know in this one, I think I made Ashley incredibly likable, but maybe not. She might be a little bit too aloof. She might be a little bit too standoffish. She might not have saved the cat hard enough, as they say, if you read that book. There's a lot of ways to create identification. You don't necessarily have to make the main character rescue someone else at their own peril, but that usually works. That's usually a good thing. They didn't do that with Harry Potter. Harry Potter was just an abused child who never got the revenge that he deserved on his aunt and uncle. He was simply escaped, not even through his own power. It was just sort of an adventure where, you know, like Pip in Great Expectations, some unseen person rescued him through the post. So I didn't care for Great Expectations. I know that Charles Dickens influenced the entire world that I exist in, fiction writing and whatnot. But he published his stuff in serials, in magazines. They didn't come out as big, thick books. Book is a collected series of magazine excerpts, essentially, you know, chapters that were published one at a time in whatever magazine they had back in the Victorian age. So, you know, things are different right now. It's really interesting. I'm really impressed with how crowdfunding works. I love that Shane and John and Ethan are making tons of money. I'm really glad that Shant and Bosch and Vasilis Lolos will make enough money to publish their books. They're making about a tenth or even less than a fraction. What is it, 0.08% of what Ethan made on his book? I think he just broke 800,000 on Wrecked Planet or Blood Hunt. And that's not Blood Honey. I don't know what his latest was. Extinction? It's not Extinction Agenda. It's something else. I should know. I didn't know I was going to talk about this. Anyhow, I do hope everything is going good for you guys. I hope you're having a great day. It's kind of rainy out here in California today, but it's still beautiful. No snow this winter. So, been doing some skateboarding despite the fact that my eyes fucked up, which is good, but, you know, things could always be better. Everyone wants miraculous healing when they need it, don't they? Anyhow, hope you guys are doing good. See you tomorrow. Bye.